Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Sister Scaleback coming in for my, ta-da, 18-month Surgiversary video. I don't have any bells and whistles for you this week. I don't have any music or before and after pics. I'm just battling a respiratory infection, and if I can make it through this video without coughing my lungs out, I'll be happy. I started this journey June 16th, 2014. I had gastric bypass or RNY surgery at Toronto Western Hospital. I'm going to say my highest weight was 361, but I know it was more than that. I just stopped counting. And I have lost 130 pounds. So I'm currently at 231. Seem to have trouble getting into the 220s. I know I have a lot of skin. I know it's probably not more than 10 pounds worth. So my doctor had said that 220 was a good range for me, a good goal for me. I've always wanted to be under 200. When I had my son, I remember being 175 after he was born, but I was also 19 years old. So I'm a big boned girl, 5'9". When I say big boned, I mean my frame is large. I have a large frame. So whether I get to under 200 or not is, and still be healthy, is a different issue. So I'm not calling goal, but I'm happy and content where I am. And if I lose more, I won't complain. 130 pounds lost in a year and a half is pretty good. And my goal right now is to not gain. So I think I said in my last video, I wasn't going to talk about numbers, but because it's a momentous, year and a half, they call it the honeymoon phase. Now, I want to just give a little disclaimer that, computers, a little disclaimer that, the honeymoon phase is different for everybody. Some people's honeymoon phase is over within the first year. Some it's a year and a half, some it's 2 years. And I know this, guys. I'm not, when I say my honeymoon phase is over, I'm just being facetious. That is the average honeymoon phase is 1 to 1.5 years. But I know people that have told me that they've continued to lose for 2 years, 3 years. It really depends on how much you work it. So if you're out there, don't think that, the journey's over just because you're at a year or a year and a half, because it can continue for as long as you work it. So would I do it again? Oh yeah, in a heartbeat. It saved my life. It's a wonderful tool. It is a tool. It helps you to not be able to eat as much as you used to be able to eat. It doesn't necessarily stop you from eating foods that are the bad foods. So I can eat, a cookie. I can eat a sandwich or a bun. I've even had a hot dog with a bun. I've had pasta, although pasta and I don't agree with each other. I've had a piece of birthday cake on occasion. I'm not much on the sweets, so I'm not tempted by that. But I know there are people out there who are. I do not crave at all pop or any sweet juice. I never was much of a juice person. I used to drink a lot of Coke Zero. I was addicted to it, but I think I've replaced that with coffee. So instead of drinking pop, I do drink coffee. I know they say not to, and in the beginning that may be true. I never stopped drinking it. And if I did develop an ulcer, I would have to stop because the caffeine in coffee can agitate an ulcer. But from what I've been told, it does not cause an ulcer. Other types of acidic foods can cause ulcers. Drinking can cause ulcers. Something else that I do very little of, I think I've had maybe 2 or 3 glasses of wine in the last year. I know there's a lot of talk in the community about alcohol, And I want to just mention right now that I have one friend who's battling transfer addiction and has been for a year. And she was on YouTube for a while, and she no longer makes videos. And alcohol is a very dangerous subject. And I really wish people in the community would stop talking about it, because even if you can handle it, there are people out there who can't. And they don't know they can't until it's too late, usually. So be responsible and try not to advocate drinking if you can help it, just for the sake of newbies that are coming up behind you. Not to say that you can never have a drink, because even I have, and I'm Muslim, I'm not supposed to drink. But I'm not supposed to gamble either, and I go to bingo, so I don't know. It's between me and God. So when I say Merry Christmas, I was a Christian for many years, and after 9/11, I was extremely angry at Islam and Muslims in general, and I met a woman at a variety store near me who was from Pakistan, and we had some fiery discussions, let's just say. That was back in 2004, roughly. And for 4 years, I got to know this woman and her family. She had kids and a husband, and they're a very regular family, very modern, very just like us. And my preconception about Muslims and my preconception about the religion was greatly changed. And 4 years after learning about Islam, I actually converted to Islam. I'm not a crazy zealot type person. You don't have to worry about me. I'm not, I'm not what you think. Islam and Christianity are very similar, very. As a matter of fact, the virgin birth, Mary, it's all in the Quran. So, as a matter of fact, there's actually more in the Quran about the miracles Jesus performed as a baby. So, the only real difference that I can see is that, well, I won't even go into that. I won't even go into that because it just upsets people. But needless to say, trust me when I say I had a very religious grandmother, and I had a very religious upbringing, and I had a very abusive upbringing. And so what one person calls righteous is sometimes just a facade for evil. And that can be done in any religion. Any religion. I just believe there is one God. And it is a belief. Beliefs are not something you can prove. And really, he lives inside of us. So I don't call that God Jesus. I do call him God, or Allah, which is just an Arabic word for God. But he is the God of Abraham. Even in the Quran, Abraham is mentioned, and Noah is mentioned, and all the prophets of the Bible are mentioned. So anyway, I just wanted to say that because there's been a lot in the news lately about the election in the States, and there's been a lot about Christmas, and some people wonder when I say I'm not Christian and I show my Christmas tree and my Christmas card writing and so on. I grew up Christian. I'm very Christian-ish, if you will, and my husband is Christian. So he's not a hardcore religious Christian, but he grew up. It's a tradition, and it's a general belief that we have. I just learned a different way of looking at it. So anyway, don't fear people from Pakistan. Don't fear people from other countries, Muslim countries, Syria. A friend of mine from Syria came to Canada. She was actually raised in France, and she came to Canada 8 years ago. And and I trained her as part of my job and got to know her, and she's very French, and she just became a Canadian citizen. And it's very ironic that she's from Syria and grew up in Paris after what happened there in Paris. It's tragic, and it's inspiring all at the same time. So, yay for Canada for accepting refugees. If there's one bad apple in the millions, at least we saved a million minus one. So, it's actually 25,000. It's not a million that Canada's taking. I hope that wherever you are in this world, that you have a wonderful Christmas, a wonderful Hanukkah if you're Jewish, wonderful, I think Diwali's all over now, but I mean, I have friends of every religion, so I've been taking up yoga. If you've never watched Satguru on YouTube or Isha Foundation, I suggest you give them a look. They're very inspiring. Sadhguru is an Indian mystic. He does not conform to any religion per se. He's a yogi. Sadhguru. And that's just telling you a little bit about me on my 18th month Surgiversary. You've been watching me all this time. There's a lot about me personally you probably did not know. And you probably think I'm a little bit crazy now, but that's okay. We all have our own beliefs and our own paths, and I believe all paths lead to God. So wherever you are, whatever you're celebrating, enjoy it and take comfort in it. And we'll see you when we see you. Bye.